Hey guys, it's Emmanuel Manning, another video. Hope you guys are doing well. So gonna do an overview on the fifth Hobgoblin, Phil Urich. So gonna provide some general information about Phil Urich. I did cover him in another video. So he first appeared in Web of Spider-Man 125. He's the nephew to Ben Urich, famous investigative journalist for the Daily Bugle. So Urich had a little run as a heroic Green Goblin, the fourth Green Goblin. So exposed to some Goblin serum, he would eventually find a Green Goblin armor, and he would be basically empowered mostly because of the Green Goblin mask, which we can kind of see on the right hand side, and him in the Green Goblin outfit. So that mask would be damaged, he would basically lose his powers, and then he would give up the Green Goblin persona. He kind of meandered through the Marvel Universe. You can kind of see in the Loner series that he's going to kind of have a mental breakdown and showing signs that perhaps that Green Goblin serum might drive him mad eventually. So we're going to pick up in terms of Phil Urich. He's going to come back in Amazing Spier-Man 648, which is the start of this big storyline called Big Time by Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos. So he's basically a big time loser. This is the words that Urich uses to describe himself, a loser. He's having issues with his rent. He has financial problems. He was caught doctoring some pictures. He's basically being blackballed in the journalistic community. And you can see in the right hand side, the middle panel, he's basically a moving guy at the Daily Bugle. He becomes intrigued by Norah Winter, who's a journalist. She's interested in the Green Goblin in the Green Goblin legacy. And then Urich starts to think to himself, wow, like if only she knew a loser like me was one of the Green Goblins. So that kind of inspires him to try to see if he can find information on the Green Goblin to maybe provide to her to advance her career and perhaps advance himself. And we're going to pick up the story in Amazing Spider-Man 649. In the story, Urich eventually goes back to one of the layers, Norman Osborn Green Goblin layers, and he's going to come across the Hobgoblin. So he assumes, Urich, that this is the first Hobgoblin. We're going to see eventually the Hobgoblin is going to try to kill Urich, and then Urich is going to use his sonic laugh to weaken the Hobgoblin. You can see in the right hand panel, which is a sonic attack, right? His lunatic laugh. So it's interesting that Urich is using the lunatic laugh without the Green Goblin mask. The Green Goblin mask, when he was the Green Goblin, used to allow him to use his power. He couldn't use it without it, but we can see he actually has access to it without the mask. We're gonna see he's eventually gonna kill the Hobgoblin. He's gonna take his head off and decapitate the Hobgoblin, and he's actually gonna take on the mantle of the Hobgoblin. We're gonna see that he's gonna have a big battle with Spider-Man, basically defeat Spider-Man. But comic books, Spider-Man somehow gets away. Urich is gonna become the Kingpin's assassin and his right-hand man. He's gonna work on some missions for the Kingpin, save the Kingpin's life, and that's really gonna earn the trust of the Kingpin. Although he kind of orchestrated that to become his right-hand man and assassin by saving the Kingpin. We're going to see also he's going to have some success at the Daily Bugle. He's actually going to be promoted. He's advancing Norah Winter's career because he's providing her footage, as we can see in the left-hand side, providing footage of the Hobgoblin. That's advancing her career, and that's helping him. We're going to see he's going to start, as you can see in the left-hand panel, he's going to be more romantically interested in Norah Winters, but she's with Randy Robertson, the son of Robbie Robertson, and he's going to eventually break them up. But the Spider-Man series, the Amazing Spider-Man, he's basically going to be working to break them up. We're going to see he's going to work on some missions for the Kingpin. He's going to take on some other heroes in the Marvel Universe. Agent Venom, as we can see in the left-hand side, Spider-Girl in the middle, and then Hercules. One of the things that stood out a lot about the subplot in terms of Urich is his obsession with Norah Winters. He spies on her, as we can see on the left-hand side, and he just becomes infatuated with her. And I don't know how else to put it. I mean, maybe there's a better way, but he's just trying to get laid. I mean, I don't know how else to kind of say that in a nice way. So he's eventually going to break up Norah Winters and Randy Robertson. Robertson basically dumps her, and then, as you can see in the last panel, Phil Urich and Norah Winters become boyfriend and girlfriend. So just some overall thoughts on this is gonna be part one. So I really like the Hobgoblin design, kind of keeping some of the older elements with the cape, the cowl a little bit. Not the complete cowl, but then that orange, right? Still keeping that orange from the original Hobgoblin, but then adding the wings and some the sword and these smaller designs for the Hobgoblin costume. So keeping some of the old elements, but then modernizing the elements and adding some new energy to the Hobgoblin costume and the character. And I also like the throwback. I know I'm focused on the Hobgoblin, but overall I enjoyed rereading these stories. Kind of a little bit throwback to the old Spider-Man stories, where we can see Peter Parker actually developing as a character and a nice supporting cast. In terms of Ramos' art, I thought it was exceptional throughout this Amazing Spider-Man run. And then the writing, I really like that Peter Parker, I should say, comparison and parallel. So I want to look at this panel here. So this is Phil Urich. Not bad. Nora's finally give me the time of day. Love interest, right? Like Peter Parker. Uncle Ben's proud. So Urich, just like Peter Parker, has a uncle named Ben, and he wants to make him proud. I'm somebody now. Just gotta keep Kingpin happy, keep the Tinkerer tinkering. Tinkerer provides him the weapons, has to also pay him, and keep the Bugle money coming in. All these responsibilities, but with them comes everything I ever wanted, and power. So much power. Ha ha ha. So interesting. He kind of inverts Peter Parker's kind of famous quote, right? With great power, Uncle Ben's quote, where great power comes great responsibility. Well, all these responsibilities as a criminal in the Daily Bugle, right, comes all this power, especially his criminal life as the Hobgoblin. And this idea of Urich and Peter Parker using their jobs at the Daily Bugle, taking pictures, recording their secret identity to advance their careers as well. And then financially, right? They're using their money, to be financially stable. So I kind of really like that about Dan Slott, that kind of parallel in comparison to Peter Parker, Phil Urich. So we're gonna see that the original Hobgoblin is actually still alive. The Hobgoblin that Urich killed was not actually the first Hobgoblin as he thought. Gonna leave it there. We're gonna go to part 2, but we're gonna see that the original Hobgoblin is gonna come back. Alright guys, that is it for now. So I really appreciate you for watching. All that good stuff. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thank you, and talk to you guys next time. Be well.